Good afternoon. Welcome to another Kerfuffle Showcase. Delighted to have on the fantastically named Simon here from Vouch today. Simon, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. How are you?
Good. Glad to be talking to another Simon. It's always good to keep it nice and simple, as they say in the name, don't they? Simon. So obviously from Vouch, Tenant referencing company. We're here to talk about the future of referencing, and it's here today, and you're going to be talking to us about it. Before we kick into that, could you just give us a bit of background about yourself, though, and then and how you came up with the concept of Vouch?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, fine. First thing, it's not my concept. If I said it was, I'd get in a lot of trouble. It was my wife's idea. But that's kind of where it all started, really. So the background is we are letting agents. We've been letting agents for years. We have our own agency in Sheffield. Doing that, building the portfolio, doing what everyone else was doing, using Rightmove, paying them too much money, picking the best suppliers where we can. And it was going pretty well. The one thing we never got right was the tenant referencing. We tried all the different companies out there. We get really, really busy in September, August, and we were paying astronomical bills and thinking, right, this is crazy. You know, actually, we're paying all this money, but we're still doing half the work ourselves. We're just sending things back to us. It's not working for us. So we brought it all back in-house and quite quickly realized that wasn't the right thing to do either, because that is seriously time-consuming, that is hard work, and you lose all that kind of professional element around it, and there's still costs involved in it. So my wife actually devised kind of a really, really naive basic system that just started automating it. So we just started doing some of the legwork. So we had it in-house, but it was just sending out reference requests, pulling information back in, collating everything, putting it back together again. And we were using that, and it was working quite well in our own business, really. And then it was kind of probably January 2017, she walked upstairs to the office and said, I think we need to roll this out. And we were like, nah, go away. We haven't got time for that. We're a letting agency. But actually, she was quite persistent about it. And when she put her argument across, it actually became quite true. So it's when they started talking about tenant fee ban coming in. Obviously, that was kind of massively on our agenda as letting agents, what we were going to do. We were going to lose all this money overnight. How are we going to fix it? So if we were thinking about it, then obviously every single other agent in the country was also thinking about exactly the same thing. So how can we put something out there which helps people reduce their costs and also generate more income? So we literally set about it, went and found a tech company and started building it in January. And by probably late September that year, we launched it and we started onboarding customers. So a busy period, but that's kind of where it came from and why we put it out there.
I think it's always really interesting, certainly for a train spotter like me, to understand how these companies started, because it tells you a lot about the company, I believe. Top mug, by the way, well done. We're appreciative of that. What I didn't realise about that, though, and what it shows to me actually is, I don't know if you've heard me talking about it recently, but I have been kind of christening it PropTech 3.0. This PropTech and supplier, and indeed just generic supplier thing happening at the moment, where agents who have been unhappy, who have been at the coalface, have been unhappy with what they've been, having to do and haven't been able to find solutions, have actually gone out and done it, as the song says, done it for themselves. And that's very much what exactly has happened with you, isn't it, in terms of just understanding the challenge there?
Yeah, 100%. It literally, we built our own thing to fix our own problem with no thought of rolling it out to anybody else at all. It's just the way it came about. Actually, it was the right thing to do, was to roll it out, and it's worked really well. And I think it's probably a lot easier for agents now as well. It's a lot. Years ago, you wouldn't even dream about building your own tech solution for something, but now actually, I won't say it's not hard work, because it is hard work, but it's doable. And if you've got a problem, you can go and work out how to solve it, and you can find someone to fix it for you. So it's definitely achievable.
It's much more achievable, isn't it, in terms of having. I was talking to Christian Byfield, in Wealth and Base, obviously, and the depository, and that ability to go out there to be able to vet proper development houses and everything else has been better than ever before, and I think that's tremendously exciting. So does that change the dynamic of your? I don't want to get too involved in your personal life, but you just throw that back at you every argument? Well, I said we should do Vouch.
Sometimes. So it's actually a bit more inbred than that. So when we had the letting agency, it was me, my wife, my wife's sister, and my brother-in-law. So it was all four of us. So basically just run it by argument all day, every day. And then we all developed Vouch together.
Never go into with friends and family, do they? And you decided to do not one, but four.
Yeah. And then we all carried on that journey of Vouch as well, and we all put Vouch together as well. So we all argued our way through that as well. And we Dan, our CTO now, he was running his own kind of independent tech firm at the time, and we went and found him to kind of build it for us. And he probably just looked and thought, what are these guys doing? Because he's trying to host a nice civilized business meeting, and we'll talk through some points, and we're probably just arguing about it in the background and shouting over each other. But it works. It works. It's not easy, but it works.
Great. And where are you up to in terms of headcount in the business now? Obviously, we're going to get onto it a little bit later, but you've tied up with the guys at Good Lord as well. In terms of your part of the business, though, how big are you now?
We have got 22, including all the management team and everything, and that's pretty much doubled in the last 12 months, I suppose. So it's always been quite lean, and it's always been about using the technology to take away the legwork and do the grunt of it and make it efficient. And that's the whole point of the system. And because we give agents a bit more control and flexibility to get their own dashboard to do it, then actually the idea is, instead of them calling their traditional referencing company, being on the phone to them, asking them to do something, change something, amend something, you can do it yourself in 2 seconds. Why ring someone, be on hold for 20 minutes, get someone else to do something, when at the press of a button, you just do it. So we can operate with a lot less people than kind of a traditional referencing company, if you like, because the system allows it, and that's the whole idea behind it.
And that keep it lean philosophy runs through. The first time you came exploding onto my radar was because of your price point. You've been able to offer a really compelling price point, haven't you, for the tenant referencing side of things?
We have, we went out to the market at £5. It caused a massive stir. A lot of people didn't like it, understandably. And we didn't put it out there at £5. It's not cheap because we wanted to make it cheap. It's cheap because actually it can be cheap. Well, we should call it value for money. We shouldn't call it cheap. But yeah, because technology is doing the work for you behind the scenes, then actually there's a lot of cost savings to be had. Now, just because people have paid 18, 20 odd quid for tenant referencing all their life, doesn't mean that was getting value for money. It doesn't mean that's what the cost price should have been. It just means that actually tenants were paying fees. Agents were happy to pay sort of 20 quid out of it. It wasn't really an issue. Tenant referencing companies were just making a lot of money out of it. So we put it out there at that price point, upset a lot of people, but it's out there because that's the price point we can make it work at, not because we're trying to make it cheap to just try and hoover up customers.
Absolutely. And look, there's normally three main reasons in my head why and how you can hit the marketplace with something as aggressively and markedly different from where the pricing was, £15, £18 and more for tenant referencing and everything else there. The first one is that one you've just discussed, technology or systems have allowed you to actually lower the cost base so that you can first of all do that. Secondly, there's the angle where you go deliberately almost into a price war. You're doing it very strategically for a period of time to do you want to take market share, and that tends to be a temporary one. And then there's the third element there where you do it out of desperation. And we all know that plenty of businesses that will drop their pants, and it's really important to understand why a company's doing that, isn't it? Because if you just go to the one just because they are cheap and, hey, presto, there's a reason behind it because the service is crap, then, you've only really got yourself to blame, haven't you?
100%, 100%. And that's definitely not what we've done. We don't have a lean team because we're trying to keep it really tight. We're all about offering customer service. We're all about getting people on the system, getting them to understand it, making sure they know how to use it really, really efficiently, and then let them go with it, But we're always there to pick up and touch up with people. So, we pride ourselves on our customer service, and we've Trustpilot, we've got over 6,000 reviews, at 4.7 out of 5. That's brilliant. That's people telling us that they like what we're doing. They like our service. We keep winning these bad boys as well.
I was just about to say, so let me just bring this up on the screen for a second. On the fantastic Pink review site as well, you're perfectly 5-star rated. But up here as well, you've got these little trophies. Yeah. And if you hadn't come onto my radar with your price point, anybody who wins an award gets straight into my sphere of influence, because that's, as you know, I'm a massive award whore. But what I love about that is, a lot of companies bounce onto an awards scene and they win one and then you disappear off. You're winning these consistently. You're getting accredited at EA Masters year on year with the highest possible thing, isn't it? For me, that's what agents should be looking for. If I can give them a little tip, look at that consistency of excellence in terms of awards, whether you think they're trinkets or not. They are not accidental if people keep winning these awards, and I think that again really goes to show. And look, you've mentioned yourself, you're not short of places to go, but even just on here, you can go down to reviews down there, see named people, named clients of yours that are happy to share their experiences. And And like the saying goes, here's one we prepared earlier. We've also got the wonderful marketing team here has put up a couple of them here. So Vouch makes the referencing process much quicker and provides excellent support to applicants and agents. I would definitely recommend the service. Thank you, Rebecca Shefflett's there. The Vouch platform is great, really easy to use, intuitive, and makes things so quick. I'm speeding through my work. I couldn't recommend this highly enough. I wish all technology was this smooth. And we hear that refrain a lot, don't we, Simon? Laura there from Twin Llama Limited. Thank you very much, and we'll go on a couple of those later. So again, I don't think you have to sort of, obviously you've got a really powerful combination there, offering price point and of course positive reviews. So can you just give us as best as you can just an overview of why you think that agents should use Vouch?
Yeah, it's quite simple really. What we always talk about is, so when it comes to tenant referencing, Vouch was built by a letting agent. It wasn't built by an insurance company. So when you actually go out there, the vast majority of referencing companies are owned and built by insurance companies who do tenant referencing to generate leads to sell insurance products. So your tenant goes through a process, there's tick box criteria. If your tenant fits that criteria, they will pass them, because then they can then sell an insurance product to them. Fine, that's how it works. Vouch comes from the other angle. So like I say, we designed and built it as a letting agent. So what features do you actually need? What do you need the system to do for you? What do you need to be involved in? What don't you want to be involved in? So we built it from a completely different angle, but then also, if you want to, then there's the insurance, there's the utilities, there's all the other elements on the other end of it if you want to go and find them. But it's kind of where the starting point came from. It came from a letting agent, it didn't come from an insurance company. So that's our kind of real difference between the two.
That's a strong one as well, isn't it? It's not like somebody can retrofit that. You can't go back to how it started and everything else. And we were talking about off air, weren't we? One of the very common things that I think you hear coming back, being devil's advocate, you hear, some agents say, oh, well, things like tenant referencing, they've all been commoditized. They're all pretty much the same. Really, though, it's quite a lazy statement. It's just like saying all estate agents are the same, isn't it? Just because, price points have been very competitively done, it still means there's massive variance in terms of the actual deliverability and customer support of that, isn't there? It really is a spectrum, and it's why it's so vital. You can't be taking a gamble, can you, in this most sensitive of areas with a letting agency? So you've got to do your due diligence, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. And there is a big difference, So I call it traditional referencing, but so a lot of the big boys who've been out there doing it for years and years and years all kind of work to that same tick box mentality. This is it, black and white, off we go. Fine. The world's different now. It's changed a lot. We've got a lot more kind of overseas students, a lot more self-employed people. People's work situations are very, very different. That kind of rigid approach doesn't fit everybody. There's a lot of time that you're getting tenants failed when actually they're not failed. They're not a bad person. They just didn't fit that criteria. Or actually, they might be great for your landlord. Has anyone actually used any common sense and had a look at it? So where Vouch came in to be completely different to that is it went away. It took all the legwork off the agent. It gathers all the information. It gives you all the credibility behind the, Equifax credit check-in, the reference collecting, everything like that. It throws it all there for you and goes, right, have a look at that. We've ticked it for you. We've ticked it green, but actually you're the expert. You're the person who's going to deal with this person. You're going to deal with the landlord if anything goes wrong. Have a look at it. We give the agents that control to be involved in it. And they might go, actually, I want to see some more on that. Press a button, off we go. Or they might go, yeah, that looks absolutely fine. I understand that their affordability is 50 quid short, but we've got a reason for it and it's all down there. I like it. I'm going to accept it. So it's giving it that little bit of control and that flexibility for agents is the kind of key difference between the two.
Okay. And I mean, there's a plethora, obviously, of tenant referencing companies. Are there any other major changes in there in between what you do and those guys?
We were kind of one of the ones to really, well, I think we were, it might sound a bit, but we were one of the guys to kind of pioneer helping agents kind of monetize the back end of the journey as well. Okay. So, the referencing, like we just talked about, it's absolute key stage to it. It's really, really critical. There's loads of moving parts. It's hard to get right. But what you have got there is an opportunity where you've got all the data. You've built up the trust with a tenant along that journey. They're used to using you and working with you. So there's an opportunity there just to introduce services and things they might actually want as part of their journey. Now, all the good agents are already doing this. They're already working with the insurance companies, media companies, etc. out there. But what we saw was, well, let's just bring it straight into the same journey. We don't want agents working with 5 or 6 more other people out there, more systems to admin, more things to get right, more things to remember, and we can tie all that straight into the back end of our platform. So we talk to tenants about not just referencing, but about moving them into a property. So as they go through our journey, we'll introduce them to say, right, well, we know you're moving in. Do you want your broadband setting up, Have you thought about your new utilities, your moving area? And there's no hard selling to it at all. We're just talking to tenants and putting things in front of them if they want to see it. What that allows is, if any of those sales get made, if tenants take anything out, that generates income. We give a load of that income back to the letting agents, more than they'll probably get going direct. You know, we've got loads of good kind of schemes set up with different people, which means that they can earn the money they should be earning from a letting, but they haven't got to go and admin it. They haven't got to go and chase other systems around. They haven't got to follow up tenants. So it brings it into that same platform, which is kind of absolutely key. So we talk about kind of tenant referencing that pays you. It might sound a bit cheesy, but actually a lot of our agents who utilize the system well get paid to do it. You know, they pay us for their referencing, but they're claiming way more back every single month than we actually give back than they give to us.
It's always nice in changing the relationship, doesn't it? When you're giving them that big check that they come from, and what you're talking about there as well is it not being the hard sell. It shouldn't be, should it? I mean, actually, it should be. It can be seen as a benefit there if it's done right. As long as you just don't overstep the line.
No, 100%. And it's just about introducing things to people, and it's just about choice. So number one, the agents can turn on and off whatever services they want to use. And then if they turn them on, then the tenant just gets to say, yeah, I want to have a look, or yeah, I'm interested in seeing that. So there genuinely is no hard sell to it at all. And then it also builds in another area around kind of the rental protection insurance, which has been absolutely kind of key. So it gives agents, with the whole marketing packs and stuff built into the journey, where you can touch of a button, you can fire off to a landlord to say, look, we found your tenant, we're really suitable, great. Have you thought about protecting your tenancy, etc.? And it will just give a nice way into introducing these landlord services and stuff as well. So, but yeah, definitely not about hard sell, just about choice.
Good. And look, we're in the middle of another lockdown here. How did COVID affect you first time round? What have you had to do to sort of make the business pivot to be able to cater for your customers?
First of all, probably like everybody else, mass panic. Didn't have a clue what was going on. Obviously, no one knew what was going on, how long it was going to last for, and what the outcome was going to be. So initially, we saw a massive drop in volume, so probably 75-80%, which was understandable. You know, agents shut the doors. The things that were going on were kind of renewals behind the scenes. But then we're probably about 3 weeks into it, we started to realise, actually, there's a lot of opportunity in here. So we didn't kind of furlough all our staff and close down our business. What we did was we used the time to make sure we're reaching out to all of our agents, asking them what they're doing. So we just put service call after service call, what are you doing? How's it going? What can we help you with? Do we need to help roll over your credits or whatever it might be, and try and work through it? And then we realised that a lot of agents, our agency as well, were actually carrying on, and it could all be done by doing it safely, by following the guidelines, but by using remote systems and doing remote workings. There was still a lot of key workers. In Sheffield, we've got massive hospitals. There were people moving here to go and help out. They still needed to move house, so people were helping to facilitate it. So what we found pretty quickly was actually it was a really, really massive opportunity for us, because a lot of other systems and processes are closed down on people because they're all built around manpower, around offices full of hundreds of people that just shut down. Service stops. Vouch carried on because it's online. It's all tech-based. All the staff can go and work from home. It's not an issue at all, and the platform keeps working for them. So actually, May, June, and July, we onboarded more customers than we've ever seen before. 100% more than we did this time last year. It was absolutely booming because people were going, right, I need a new solution. I need a way to go, and if this happens again, how can I protect my own business and keep it running and working behind the scenes? So weird time, very, very difficult for agents, but I don't think the way it comes out is everyone who wanted to move this year is still going to move. We just kind of had a massive delay in the process, and we saw that when we came out of lockdown. There was a huge spike. Rental sales market absolutely went through the roof because those people were just pent up and still ready to go. That's leveled off a little bit now, and this second lockdown's we've seen a drop, but it's nowhere near as significant as last time, because people have learned to manage it. They've learned, right, how do we work through it? How do we make the most of it? And people are trying to carry on, but do it in the right way and do it safely.
And Simon, one of the big announcements of the year was obviously your tie-up with Good Lord as well. Do you want to just talk us through that? What the thinking was behind it, and if it is giving you anything, what benefits it's offering both sides of the business?
Yeah. So people might have seen a bit of a weird one, really, because they probably see us as two competitors, whereas actually we do two pretty different things. We offer a really, really kind of good tenant referencing journey that sits in the middle of all of the moving parts, and we try and get that bit absolutely right. And what Good Lord do is they offer that end-to-end platform. So right from the initial part of the letting, taking payments, dealing with landlord payments, sorting out contracts, compliance paperwork, all the way through, and that journey is going to carry on. So we were looking at our own business and talking to our own customers, and we realized that actually they wanted a bit more. The market is consolidated. There's prop tech absolutely everywhere. Most of it's rubbish. And what people want is the good platforms that do as much of the journey as humanly possible. So our thinking around the type of good Lord is, well, we don't want to go out and start building an end-to-end solution. We don't want to go out, there's a lot of money, a lot of time to be invested in all that. And actually there's other people out there who've already done it and have done it really, really well. So when you look at
it was very simply a build, partner, or acquire strategy, really, and it was just sensible getting together. You could tick that bit off your, as you said, off. We all have so many spinning plates as businesses. That one was just able to put yourself, months or years ahead of where you would have been ordinarily have been.
Exactly that. It's like 2 + 2 = 5 sometimes, because it just makes sense. It was the right thing to do, and the whole idea behind it is that we're not going to close Vouch down and go and be part of Good Lord, and that doesn't happen anymore. No, keeping our own brand, keeping our own identity, but what we are doing is working really hard on integration now, which hopefully by Christmas we'll see the first people running through it. But the idea is that our customers that want that platform and want that journey can seamlessly integrate straight into it. So therefore, right, be a Vouch customer, that's fine, but use the rest of the benefits of the Good Lord platform. And the Good Lord customers who want to look at our referencing and use our referencing can use that completely seamlessly, no double entry of data, etc., and just flow through the system. So it's just about opening up more to our customers and giving them more choice.
And no one's ever had any problem with more choice, have they? Ultimately, there.
Yeah.
2 and 2 = 5. You just reminded me we're coming up to self-assessment time soon, aren't we? So you haven't been quiet recently, so it seems a bit cheeky of me to be asking. But what else have you been working on?
So we've spent a lot of time working on kind of like partner integrations. Okay. So as we've seen, our agents need to monetize and make more efficient every single let they do. And we're trying to tie all those products into our system like we talked about before. So we've worked really hard with, we're working really hard with Reposit at the moment in terms of offering a really good deposit replacement journey for those agents who want to use it and making that seamless. We've been dipping our toe in the market with utility companies. So we've been testing out a few. We've got trials going all over the place to work out what's out there. No agents seem to like utility companies. So it's about giving a choice again and saying, right, what actually fits your business? So the idea here is that we go out, we check out all the other suppliers, all these additional services that agents can be using. We do all the hard work, and then we'll select the ones we think are right. We'll build them into the system. We'll do the integration part, and then we'll put it out there and let people try it and see what they like. So we're trying to build a platform where you can kind of pick who you want to work with along the journey. So we've got something that kind of fits everyone. Instead of saying, right, well, if you come along on our journey, you've got to use that utility company or you've got to use that supplier for that. We're going, right, who do you want to use? And we're asking our customers, who are you using? Who's any good? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to use it. So we've been working really, really hard on getting those integrations right, which isn't easy. Different people's platforms, different technology, getting it all tied in. Everything takes longer than you think, but we're there now.
Do you have a public API for third parties to work with, or is it a case of just getting your dev team together with their dev teams?
No, we've got a full set of API docs that are out there now that people can come and have a look at and use. And what's kind of key in terms of picking suppliers is picking ones that we can actually work with. Some of them are so far behind the time, it's just too hard. And what that leads to is more stress down the line for everybody because data doesn't move, things go wrong. So it's about picking people we can work with in terms of that side as well.
Yeah, one of the I've spoken about APIs with a degree of knowledge for the last 2 decades. One day somebody's actually going to point it out what it does, but that's completely separate.
It's not my area either. It's definitely not my area, and I've been learning a lot about it. And I spend a lot of time in tech meetings just nodding. But apparently they're the best thing in the world. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think I've basically done that Homer Simpson. Yeah. I've been able to bluff my way in this industry for a period of time now. It's important though, isn't it? Because actually, agents' first response will ordinarily be, is it integrated? And it's not like your system isn't, totally, you can work it totally standalone. But I just think in this day and age, more and more people are just wanting to get as efficient as possible. Because let's face it, they've been busier than ever. Lots of them, less staff than ever, haven't they? Or, more, less having to do more with less, which technology has to step up to the plate in those environments, doesn't it?
Definitely, and those kind of CRM integrations are all coming as well. We've got a long line of people we're in communications with now. That's not an easy process, because there's work at their end as well. But they're all coming. They're all plugging in. Again, we're asking our customers, right, who are you using? Where should we start? Where's the priority? So they're all definitely part of our journey, and we're trying to build almost a seamless product that can just be plugged into anything. Doesn't matter where it goes. Doesn't matter where the information is to start with. You can pick it up, via an API, run it through the platform, do what it needs to do, and then just spit it back to wherever you want it in whatever format you want it. And that's where the industry's got to go. You know, it's got to be about prop tech, but doing it intelligently, not just having a nice flashy system, having something that's really being efficient behind the scenes.
I hear it whispered that there's a certain pink review website that has the most comprehensive A to Z list of suppliers out there. So have a scooch on that later and see who you want to partner.
Is there? I'll have to. I don't know what it is. I'll have to go and have a look for that.
Shameless, absolutely. And what have you got planned on? I mean, obviously, it sounds like more of the same in terms of looking at those partners. But anything else you can tell us about?
Yeah, we've been working really, really hard on kind of the next phase of Vouch. So we've used these first few years to go, right, what does the market look like? What's the demand out there? It's massive, and what do people want from a system? So we've launched a product onto the market that's been great. It's been really, really effective, but we've also been learning, right, what else do they need? And now there's more technology out there. There's new things out there that we can build into it. There's probably better ways of talking to tenants and getting people through a process. So we've got kind of a new platform that's going on behind the scenes. We've got some people dipping into it, doing some like live testing and stuff now. So early next year, we'll be launching something kind of, well, I say completely new. It's just the evolution of where we've come from, really. You know, it's the next stage along, but it will be hands down the best platform on the market with the latest technology into it, and still at a price point that is fair. Definitely.
You massive tease. You know how to play me and my audience. So do make sure you come back on Kerfuffle and we'll shout about it, obviously, there when you launch. That sounds very interesting. Got a couple more reviews. This is where you can sit back, have a sip of tea, and I'll throw the pink rose petals at you. Here we go. Let's have a look here. So we've got here a fabulous service, easy to use, support always readily available, and the team very pleasant to deal with. Great income generation and products. Dawn Hardiman's Estate Agents Limited, fantastic. And then I think you've been really, really, really kind as well, Simon. You've got a deal on the table as well for our Kerfuffle members, haven't you? Would you mind just giving us a bit of detail around that while I pop it up for us?
100%, yeah. So anybody that comes via Kerfuffle, just mention Kerfuffle. That's a nice, easy way to do it. And then we're happy to give everyone kind of 10 free references. 10 free references doesn't sound like low, so we're giving away months and months worth of trial, but we just want to get you on our platform, see how good it is, take the 10 free credits to get into it and earn some money from it, because you will earn some money in those 10 free ones as well. So it's effectively, we'll pay you to just have a go. So come and have a look at it. There's much training, as much help as the guys need in there. Get you set up. And just come and see it. You know, just because you've been working with a different supplier forever doesn't mean that's still the right supplier for you. So it's worth just taking a look.
Well, what we're about at Kerfuffle is challenging that inertia. I've said a million times, I got very frustrated, and I know my supplier peers got very frustrated when they genuinely knew that their proposition was right for an agent, and it was just that intransigence to change. And you know, they'll be the first to admit it when they go live finally with it. They say, "I wish we'd done this years ago." And I think we all do that in life, don't we? Whether that's me trying to finally get on an exercise machine. or agents looking at the right prop tech solutions. Yeah,
it's just taking that first step. You know, change is hard. People always kind of push back against change, but actually, if it makes your life a lot easier, it doesn't take a long time to realize that. You know, get onto the platform, just have a look at it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's fine.
That's perfect. And I mean, what better time to do it? We're going in, obviously, you've got the next few weeks as well before the end of the year. Decide if Vouch are going to be part of this proposition. As you've heard, most people have said it really doesn't seem like you can beat the price point. So all you've got to decide is if it works for you. And obviously, you can see on here all the different, obviously, feedback we've got from people saying how good it is. So go and have a look, obviously, there. Reach out to Simon and his team directly on social, or obviously on their own website. Or there's the wonderful pink button there. I'm interested. Contact me and we'll forward that on straight away to Simon and his team. Well, Simon, that's really, really interesting to hear how you've obviously been developing the business, and congrats, obviously, for launching it. It must be very exciting launching it from an agency, seeing it those embryonic days into where they are now. Stay in touch with us and obviously let us know about that launch.
Will do. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Thanks all.